Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Non-League 2 Premier League here with Bath City. As I'm sure you're aware now, we're in the playoffs. We've secured our playoff spot. 2 games of the season to go against Dorking and Maidstone. Dorking, desperate for a win, 6 points off Horsham. And obviously they'll be desperate to try and catch them up and hope the teams above them start to slip up. And then we've also, our final game will be against Maidstone, who are all the way up 4 points ahead of us. So if we win this and something goes wrong for Maidstone or Tottenham, on the last game we could push up higher to second or third. Now last episode we did have our youth intake, and I did quickly build them into a squad, including Sweeten in here, because Sweeten realistically, he is only 17, he might be 18 on the game himself. Let's have a look, he's 18 now. He's still really a youth player. So I had a little mix around. This probably isn't all the youth players' best positions, but to make them into a starting 11, this was the best I could get. Very good in position. You'll see they're all capable of playing these positions, apart from maybe Cornick. But to be honest, Cornick wasn't great in any position. I made some notes, and looking at those, Justin Cornick, current ability is 1 star. If I'm to play him as a wing back rather than a full back, but this is how my formation goes, this is how they have to learn to play. Out of possession becomes an issue. Rivers and Diot are no good at just being wingers. They have to be attacking wingers, and Skews is just a centre mid, not as good as he is a cam. Few players we could change around, few players I am impressed with. The main players in terms of their potential to look out for is Paul Uday in goal. He does have a 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. That's obviously with my squad at his current ability, so realistically that potential's probably only good enough for the National League, but for us that's fine for now. Other notables, Logan Morris, who at the moment I have in DM. His best position apparently is centre back, but I've slotted him in DM because you'll see that Morris has a 4 to 5 star potential. Stefan Seeley, the other centre back, 4 to 5 star potential again. Scott Gallagher, he's filling in the centre back role instead of Morris, only has a 3 to 4 star potential. Looking at Gerald Diot, Gabby Rivers, they both have 4 to 5 star potential. Skews in attacking mid has anywhere from 3 to 5 star potential, and he has a current ability of 1.5 star if I was to play him in a channel midfielder, so he was to run down the wings more. And the only other person to make note of personally, although he's not actually great in game, is Ian McPherson with the 16 finishing. His potential is only 2.5 to 3.5 star, but with the 16 finishing that's going to come more in handy. And I'm actually going to play this next game with this lineup, expecting to lose, but it gives all my main team players a big rest before the last game against Maidstone and the playoffs. So I am going to start with this youth 11, completely all brand new, signed within the last week or so in game time. They're all now going to start as an 11, and we'll see what we can do. I'm expecting a big loss here, but we will see. Against Dorking, I'm probably doing them a favour by playing this weaker team, because they're obviously looking to get in the promotion spots, and they've got a bit of an easy game here. But there's a unit there. It was good fun laughing at him when Dorking came to Twerton Park. I think it might have been end of last season or start of this season, I can't remember, and they went on and lost after they got a red card, after there was a load of fuss about a throw-in. But here he is for 16 finishing McPherson. That is goddamn awful. For 16 finishing, I was expecting that to be his first goal for the club, but sadly not to be there, still warming his legs up only a few minutes into this game. But I have ran through my youth academy players. There's certain ones that stand out that I'm going to need to keep an eye on. There's other ones that are just going to stay in the youth academy and go no higher. But it's good that I'm going to be able to put together a proper under 21 or under 18 team next season. And here comes Rivers, who is one of our high potential players now. Driving down that line, gets a great ball in. Falls back to foul out left back, who seems to have the captain's armband on today. That wasn't my decision. I should have probably looked at some of their stats and decided, but this is potentially a team that you may see for the future of Bath it's great to get a golden generation youth intake on my first season, as these players are ready really to at least come off the bench and be rotation players. There's not many people who look out of place in this lineup. You know, if you're at 1.5 to 2 stars ability at the age of 16, you're good enough to come off the bench, play in the cup and be a good rotation. We'll see how comfortable they are with my formation, with the ball at their feet, and what they're like in front of goal, and creativity mostly, because it's the more creative players in Rivens and Dior who have the highest ability for the squad, so I need to get them in straight away. But they're competing at the moment with Alves, who's been on great form, and Windsor, who's dropped back to that left position, but left wing position, but he may find himself back up front at the start of next year, which really leaves that left wing spot open and free, and that's an awful challenge there by Story. And to be honest, I think that should have been a red card from the immediate replay there that I was just shown. We are getting absolutely dominated possession-wise, but we are having our chances. The only team to have a shot on target in these opening 20 minutes. And here we are with Story again, who committed an awful challenge just there on the halfway line, which I feel could have been a red card, and I think the refs let him off lightly. And there's Mewett, and that's a great ball through to Carter. And let's see how this defence recovers. They recover well. Carter on the ball, he's great. Mewett straight at Uday. We all know in Football Manager the youth intake's the most exciting part. And now having a starting 11 of youth players, including Sweden, who really is the experienced head in this lineup. I've also got a rather strong bench. I didn't bring all my youth players. I was tempted to fill the bench, but if this team were to find themselves still in the game with, 30 minutes or so to play, being able to bring on some strong bench players could give the team the push they need. But Dorking and Olaf had a very good game. Carter and Rutherford, two brilliant players for this level. And they were unlucky really not to go up last year, and they went on an awful run towards the end of the season. And it was the end of last season they came to Bath and got a red card over some throwing fiasco. And that, to be honest, was probably my favourite game I've ever watched. And Mewett at full time definitely wasn't happy. Stood in front of the Bath City supporters, doing hand gestures he probably shouldn't do, whilst we were giving him a lot of stick and a lot of grief. And that's a foul there by Sweden. That could be a yellow card. And it is a yellow card. The referee had a few minutes to think about it. And speaking of Mewett, he's the one who got fouled there. But this Bath City youth team really are holding their own coming up into the last 5 minutes of the half. Apart from possession, the game is fairly 50-50 in terms of chances, and in fact Bath have had a better XG here. But we are getting battered possession-wise, barely touching the ball. And here come Dorking now. Towards the end of the first half, they will not get a chance, and that leads us into half-time. We've done well, like I said, to hold our own so far. I'm proud of what everyone's doing. Let's see what we can do here. McPherson, you're my only disappointment from the first half. That opportunity you had for someone with as high finishing as you up at 16, I think should be slotting that away past the keeper. But Rivers picks up the ball now, back to Gallagher. Skews cannot win the ball there, and it falls through to the Dorking keeper. Out to Camp here, out to Mewett, forward to Charlie Carter, Alfie Rutherford there. That's one hell of a ball out to McShane. Defenders just standing off really, and Uday with a good save to tip it around the post. And it's a corner here to Dorking with Carter. Wheeling the ball well. Seeley can't stop that going out for a throw, and that'll be a Dorking throw there. I'm fairly surprised, to be honest, that we're still at 0-0 here. And this youth team could be proud of themselves, winning that ball ahead of Mewett. And here's Mewett again with the ball back to Camp, out to Story. He plays it through to Camp. And that looks like a penalty given some way, somehow by Gallagher. And are we going to get heroics? No, we are not. And Dorking do take the lead in the 50th minute. So far, like I said, my team can be more than proud of what they've done. More than proud of what they've done. Barely touched the ball, but they've kept themselves in the game and created opportunities. It's coming up to the 60th minute now. To be honest, I'm not sure I really want to change anything. I'm glad that my main team players can get a rest, but I do need to keep them match sharp. So I'll see who's on the bench and maybe bring them in for the last 30 minutes or so, just to keep them ticking over and ready for the playoffs. That's a good ball, good switch. Out to Northern Williams, who's quite a good player, I like him. Alfie Rutherford now expecting him to score that, he doesn't. It comes back off the post, and Hewitt now can collect out on the right. A quick 1-2, quick cross, and that looks like that was offside. Here we go, I'll go to my more attacking formation. I'll bring Greenslade on. Morris looks like he needs to come off, and we bring Ross on. Beardmore for Skews. Brad Ash for... no, I'll leave those wingers on because they're quite good. Who do I have left? Tomlinson, he can come on, shore up the defence a bit, and we keep that one substitution left. So I do push these guys on, bring a bit of experience on, and we're looking to go a bit more attacking for this last 25-30 minutes. It might come back to haunt us, but with playoffs already guaranteed, I need to keep an eye on the future fixtures really. Tilson's still to return to the squad as he got injured. He's back in 5 to 11 days, I believe it is. And there is Diop, the young Frenchman. He's going to get a talking to. Another opportunity for Dorking to try and get this ball into the box, which I'm sure they will with Carter. And they do in the head of us, way over the bar. Into the last 25 minutes here. A young Bath City side, let's see what they can do. That's a long ball forward. Sweeten picks up in the midfield. Russ, there. Cornick. Rivers now. He's got an opportunity to run. And he does run, he takes on his man. He gets the ball towards Beardmore. Beardmore brings up that Cornick with an opportunity to shoot. But that's a poor finish really, expected from the young right back on his weaker foot. But you can see here, Bath, we're still creating opportunities. Trying to put pressure on their team, force them into a mistake, and they do make a mistake. McPherson plays that through. Beardmore carries on an absolutely brilliant streak. And that to me looked like a McPherson assist. But according to that, it wasn't. And we'll see what happened. McPherson has the ball. He plays it through. Beardmore gets it. But apparently there was no assist for that goal. McPherson, you've been robbed, my friend. But Beardmore again, what a streak of games he's on. And Bath, a young Bath side, do level it up against Dorking in around the 70th minute now, as we're into the last 15 minutes of this game. Will Bath, a young Bath side, be able to nab a winner? Or will Dorking be able to put some more dominance into the game and really take control of it? That's Hewitt switching it to McShane beautifully. Over the top to Carter, beautifully again. Carter gets past Greenslade, way too easy for me. And McShane headers that over the bar. That was an absolutely great opportunity. Coming up to the last 10 minutes now, we really have had good opportunities here, Bath. Dorking have had the better, but 7 shots, 5 on target, only about 25% of the ball. And that's sloppy there from Dorking. Diop's turn. What can he do into Beardmore? Cross to Sweet and out to Greenslade. Here pick up Diop again. Diop almost loses the ball but keeps hold of it, gets past his man. What can he do here? He takes on his man again, that's a foul. Rivers having a poor game according to the stats. But it is his first game at professional level against a good side in Dorking really. And here's Cornick now. Takes his time with the throw in, plays that towards Beardmore. Rivers gets the ball to the back. Doesn't quite fall for Diop, but Sweden picks it up. Greenslade with a header. And this could be a counter-attack. Charlie Carter on the halfway line. Slade played down to Taylor. Over the top towards Alfie Rutherford. Cleared by Cornick out for a throw. And we enter the last 5 minutes here. A draw would be really good, considering the team I've put out. And will we have a chance here with Rivers? He plays back to Cornick now. What will Cornick do? He looks back towards Rivers. Rivers will try and take on his man. Keeps the ball in play, takes on his man well, gets an early ball in. McPherson waiting for it, but it's flicked out to Diop now. And that's out for a corner there. Good defender by Dorking. But these two wide attacking midfielders, Rivers and Diop, they like to have a run at the fullback, and I enjoy that from a young player. Get at you, man. And that ball to Sweeten's headed, and that's a good save. Rivers and Diop both having poor games, really, but I haven't minded what I've seen from them. Will Dorking get one last opportunity as they win the ball high up there to Camp, back out to Taylor now. Looking back towards the defence, they want to play out, they need another opportunity here. McPherson trying to chase the ball down but struggling, and that ball out to Taylor is a brilliant one, and that ball in the box is defended well, but it falls, and it's another good save from Rude, who's not had a bad game on his debut. And we keep the ball out, we clear it again. 3 minutes of stoppage time, we're almost 2 in. Rutherford gets an opportunity, and that was offside anyway, so that's a free kick to Bath. Well, we see one final opportunity for someone here. Tomlinson now to Diop, into Beardmore. He's just sort of fell over and given the ball back to Dorking now. They look to play forward quickly. That's through to Alfred Rutherford, who's a danger in this area. Good defended by Cornet to trap Lewis into the back post. Beardmore now will drive forward. He brings back Rivers now into Russ to McPherson. It's got to go wide to Diop. Diop. Greenslade with an early ball. And I thought it was going to be a pen, but it turns out apparently we gave the foul away. And that looking like it's going to be full time now. Norval Williams, and there is the full time whistle. A young Bath City side 1, Dorking 1. Some decent impressive performances on there. Beardmore, especially recently off the bench, has been absolutely brilliant. The left back Farwell played quite well in the first half, and Seeley wasn't doing too bad. None of them, to be honest, apart from the wingers, played that bad, and it's a shame to see the wingers play poorly when apparently they have the current best ability and the best future potential. But it looks there like we have some teams relegated officially. Hemel, Weston-super-Mare and Salisbury all officially relegated. Tonbridge 3 points away from Enfield Town. Leads for an interesting run into the last game of the season. Our last game of the season here is against Maidstone, and it looks like, from what I'm seeing, Maidstone may have lost their last game and have dropped down to third, only 3 points ahead of us. I will double check those stats, because we could leapfrog them on the last game of the season, and you'll see the reason I rested players. 25th, we're playing the last game of the season. 29th looks like the playoff day, and the 3rd looks like a potential playoff day. We are already guaranteed to be in those playoffs, and the closer we get to the end of the season, the more likely promotion seems to be. So we take a look at this table. We're 3 points behind Maidstone, so a win against them will take us above them, because our goal difference is the second best in the league, only to Dagenham and Redbridge at the top, who could break the 100-point mark on their last game of the season. But if you did enjoy that episode, please do leave a like, please do subscribe, and I will catch you next time for the last game of the season.